Hello. So in this video, I want to talk about how to get your Illustrator artwork over to After Effects and some things you might encounter. So I've talked about this a little before with the hierarchy thing, but now that we're making something that I would imagine would be more complex, there's just some things to check out. So here I have my little scene that I'm going to do for the demo. And the first thing, just of course, is you want to name everything. You also want, as best you can, to organize your layer in a way where your protagonist can kind of move through the set and kind of be behind things you want it to be behind and in front of things you want it to be in front of. I would imagine things that don't move as much as possible, you'll want to group together, and there's some other little tricky things that come up as you work. So I want to kind of look at those, and seeing as today, hopefully, things have progressed, but it's not quite polished yet. You want to just kind of give your scene a little test in After Effects just to make sure some of these issues aren't gonna surprise you later. All right, so I have my file here. I'm gonna hit save. I'm gonna head over to After Effects. Okay, so now we're over in After Effects. I'm going to hit New Project, and just a little shortcut, I'm going to just double click over here. For reasons I've stated earlier, I believe that your assets should be in a folder that is in a child directory to your piece. And I'm going to go to my file here, and what I'm looking for is composition, retain layer sizes. There are other, this isn't, there could be a good reason to use these other options. I think for this project, this is probably what we're going to want. But there are pros and cons to each of these. So what that's going to do, I'm going to open this thing up. I'm going to have this. And I don't see anything. All right. Our first problem. So, what happened? So the first kind of gotcha is to make sure that you have one and only one artboard. Okay? Otherwise, what After Effects brought in was this artboard over here. Okay? And there's nothing over there. The other, less critical but also useful thing is, I would say we're looking for at the width of this thing to be 1920 HD. Anything over that is fine. Mine just worked out to be 2496. But I think if you're working with something smaller than 1920, that's going to add some complications that I think are unnecessary. All right, so I got rid of it. Now I only have one artboard. I'm going to save it, go over here, delete all that stuff, and try again. Glorious. All right, so now it's in here, and that's a step forward, but things look weird. Like, what happened to all my my shadows? So the next thing to be on the lookout for is that blend mode. So if you have set something with a blend mode in Illustrator, that will not come over into After Effects. And it's no big deal. It's just something to be aware of. So I have been methodical with my file naming. So I know that anything that says shadow is a multiply. And anything that says highlight is set to screen. So paddle highlight. And let's see, is there anything I'm missing? I don't see anything. Okay. All right, so another thing that you might see is like where artwork meets, where two vector layers meet each other, there's like weird little outlines. See, I can see kind of like a little thin line of blue here. So one solution to that is to hit this little switch here. And this is the collapse transformation or continuously rasterize. How to describe this layer? Well, okay, let's just click it for a second. So that fixed my stairs. Very nice. So how to describe this layer? Let me grab a shape from here. My ball. And let's make a new composition and just put the ball in there. All right. So with this turned off, what is happening is After Effects has made a bitmap image of my vector file, and I can manipulate that bitmap image. But when I scale it, you see all the yucky like blow up, right? What continuously rasterize does is it continues to render that vector file as a sharp thing. There is another part to continuously rasterize that we are going to encounter in the future, but for now, let's just say it helped fix my stairs. All right, next, I want to start making stuff. I want to start animating this thing, and I got my ball. Oh shoot! I grabbed my frame. Right? That's not what I want. So before we animate, it can also be nice to do a few things. All right. The first thing we're gonna do is like for like the next several classes, the only thing that's gonna move in these things are your protagonists, which is like a fancy word for these little ball objects, right? So if I want to just show that and not everything else, I can use this layer. So this is the shy layer. And what the shy layer does is when I hit shy, it hides everything that's shied. And I actually want the ball to not be shy. Right? So now all that stuff is still there, but it's not showing up in my timeline. But then what about the frame? All right? So to deal with that, I'm going to grab everything but the ball and lock it. And now I just grab the protagonist or ball or whatever. All right. And I'm ready to go.